Hey there, World Wide Web. This is Dan of Danica Daydreams. As a lot of you know, Monica and I, we ended our business back at the end of 2024. Literally the last day as clock struck midnight, I ran up here and I shut the site down and everything. Anyways, this is the first public Danica Daydreams thing that I'm doing since. There's a university in New York State that has a Neurodiversity Club. They heard about me and they heard about Danica Daydreams and our whole message and kind of advocacy for really anybody neurodivergent, as well as anybody who's ever felt a little bit weird, a little bit off, a little bit different, right? Our whole thing is embrace the weirdness life has to offer. I'm rushing because it starts in 3 minutes. But yeah, long story short, I'm kind of nervous. I'm kind of excited. I've been asked to talk about my experiences being autistic and being a small business owner. And yeah, I'm going to talk about that. Monica couldn't be with us today, but hopefully I'll do all right without her. Yeah, so I'm super nervous. Oh, the other thing too is for privacy reasons, you will not hear anything from the students. I'm expecting they'll ask me some questions. So you're going to see I'm going to be editing out anytime we hear them speak. And I'm going to be replacing that with, just text on the screen. So yeah, here. Woo. All right, 2 minutes. Here we go. So hi, everyone. I'm Dan. I'm going to give you... I think the way that we discuss this is I'm going to start off with I've kind of a few things written that I want to say. And then if anyone has questions later, we'll kind of take it from there. So I'm Dan. I was diagnosed with autism in the spring of 2020. My wife, Monica, is dyslexic. And from 2021 to 2024, we ran our own small business selling our original art. I'm going to bring up on the screen, let's see. You should see, it started about halfway through. That's my wife, Monica, over there. On screen right now, I have some pictures. I've got a slideshow going. You're going to see some of the art that we sold, as well as some promotional images that we did, some behind the scenes photos, a little bit of everything. And yeah, basically, I'm here today to chat with all of you about my experiences being a neurodivergent business owner. So it all started in 2019. At the time, Monica and I were both working jobs that we weren't completely happy with. We wanted something more, and we started talking a lot about that. Eventually, we decided it was time to build something of our own and start a small business. Now, at the time, we really didn't know much about what goes into running a business, and we didn't know if we would work or not. Sorry, we didn't know if it would work or not. But we also knew that we were in a situation in our lives where we could afford to take a risk. We had a dream and we wanted to chase after it. A big thing with us too is we also didn't want to play things too safe. We didn't want to just not try and then wake up 20, 30 years down the line, look back at our lives and wonder, what if? So yeah, we gave it really everything that we had. During this whole process, the idea for what kind of business we wanted to create changed a little bit. At first, we were talking about opening up an art gallery that's going to have lots of crazy additions and different stuff that would have set us apart. We came to the realization about maybe 6 to 9 months in, though, that was too large of a scale. And Monica started talking more and more about her passion of creating artwork on shirts. So we ended up pivoting to selling our own original artwork instead, which, like I said, you see some of it is showing up on that screen there. So Monica and I were both artists in different ways. She loves to draw and to paint, and I love to create photos and videos. So what we decided is that she'd be the main artist behind all of the art that we sold, and my responsibility would be to create photos and videos, try to promote the whole business. Monica's job title was co-founder and head of design. So the art that she made was inspired, and you can see it on her packaging. The art that she made was inspired by her dreams. And near the end, we actually started including little write-ups of the dream behind the art with all our packaging. So she would start out the art on paper with pencil and Sharpie. She'd scan it into the computer. And then after we had several pieces of art that were scanned in, we'd go through them one by one and discuss which ones we wanted to include in an upcoming collection and what changes should be made. Then she'd bring the scan into Adobe Illustrator, trace over her Sharpie lines, make the changes, and color it all in digitally. And we'd also frequently discuss the current state of the art and check every little detail. Like we're zooming in like 20 times in the image, making sure every little corner, every little line is just perfect. So it's something that the artwork was primarily Monica's, but we got to collaborate in that sense, where I was more of kind of like an assistant, I guess. My job title, though, was co-founder, head of marketing, and also known for backflips. A part of my job was creating photos and videos to promote the brand, sell some of the art, and the other thing is share our message of embracing the weirdness that life has to offer. A message that, if I get out of focus and it switches, you can see is on our banner on that back wall right there. And I'll talk more about that message in a little bit, of embracing the weirdness that life has to offer. My favorite thing to make we did these green screen videos, and I'll pull one up here. Basically, with every new collection of art, we had these videos where it's Monica in a cartoon world, something goes wrong and only she can save the day. And we'd usually tie those videos into whatever collection of art that we had at the time. So we had like a snake collection. So she goes to the snake world. My favorite, though, is she went to Pickleopolis with this pickle-themed collection. So she goes to like this pickle-themed amusement park up in the clouds. With our videos, we really wanted to have fun with them. And a big part of it, too, is we weren't trying to make videos for everybody. We wanted to make videos that showed off who we are. And that is kind of weird, wild, eccentric, loud. We really just wanted to have fun with it and throw kind of everything that we had and kind of just push forward that message of be yourself and do your own thing. And we try to reflect that with those videos. I'm going to stop talking for a quick minute. I want to show you a 1-minute ad that we made for our stickers that I think kind of represents that chaos and insanity and fun that was part of this.
Why, hello, Monica. What's that you've got there?
It's my sticker collection.
What?
I have got a sticker collection. Sticker collection. I have got a sticker collection. Sticker collection. It's sticker time! Stickity stick!
My sticker for your sticker.
I have got collection. Sticker collection.
Stick a doodle on your sketchbook.
Sticker collection.
Smack it on your laptop. The stickers are me and I am the stickers. The stickers are me and I am the stickers.
I have got. Buy a sticker today.
Ooh, at Daydreams.ca.
Yeah. So that kind of shows a little bit about what we're about. I'll say one really nice thing about us running our own business and being our own bosses really is that we had complete creative control over what we did. That amount of creative control, too, showed off our own personality, showed off what made us unique. It attracted customers to us. And I don't think we'd have that level of freedom if we were to work for somebody else. So yeah, that's the photos and videos like you can see on the screen there. That's a big part of what I did. Now I want to take a quick step back and talk about just how we started the business and kind of go through some of that. So the first step for us was research. And honestly, it's amazing how much free knowledge and resources are out there online. It's incredible how much you can teach yourself just by doing a bit of Googling. There are a lot of great resources out there. For example, we also reached out to our city's small business center. Oh, and I forgot to say, I'm Canadian, by the way. I live in Barrie, Ontario. It's like an hour north of Toronto. So yeah, we reached out to our to the Barrie Small Business Center. They were able to give us one-on-one advice. They also hosted seminars that went over some of the basics of how do you start and run a business and many different aspects of that. And they also set us up with somebody who designed and created our website for free, which was great. It was a Shopify site. And yeah, so the first step was just kind of that research. And we spent a lot of time in that kind of prepping phase. After a while, we also discovered the ways that we work best. And I think that's something that I think is really important, especially when you are neurodivergent, because everybody's different in this regard. And what works best for one person might not work well for someone else. For example, with me, I find that I work best with a structured schedule and routine. In the beginning days of Danica Daydreams, we didn't have a schedule, and we were probably too casual about things. It was, oh, we'll do it in our free time, and then we never really did. We were often slacking, and we didn't really get the work done, and it wasn't until 2020, COVID hits, we're both out of our jobs for several months, and we decided we really wanted to take this whole business thing seriously. So we both agreed upon a set number of hours per week that we dedicate to the business, and we took that commitment seriously, and we followed through on that throughout the entire time that we ran Danica Daydreams from then on. I also, speaking of learning how you work, I also realized that when I'm working, I want to be fully on. When I'm off, I want to be completely off. Because it takes my brain a while to kind of switch between work mode to rest mode. And I struggle when I need to quickly pick something up and then put it down, and then pick it up and put it back down and pick it up. And it's a lot. So what I found is I need clear break time between those two modes with long periods of work, followed by just interrupted time off. And I also did need to set a clear schedule for myself. When I was able to do this, it worked out pretty well for me. I was able to work 60 hours a week from Monday to Friday, rest for the weekend, and then do it all over again. But where I struggled is sometimes, of course, in business, extra work can come up unexpectedly. And look, like I said, I could do 60 hours of work throughout the weekdays and I'd be fine because I'd be preparing for that. I knew it was coming. If 15 minutes of unexpected work suddenly popped up on a Saturday, that could lead to a panic attack. That could lead to a meltdown. It's not something that I really did well with. And honestly, I never found a perfect solution to this, but after a while, it did start to get a bit better. When new things would pop up, I'd ask myself, is this really an emergency? Is this the number one priority? Or can it wait a couple days? After a while, I taught myself that sometimes it's better just to leave it till Monday and prioritize my own mental health. I think that's very important. So we worked very hard to get set up. And then after over a year of hard work, we were finally ready to open our business. So in October 2021, we launched Danica Daydreams. At first, we only sold online through our Shopify site. And what we found was online only was good, but the issue was just our friends and family who were buying from us, and we needed to expand out. So in 2022, we started selling at markets. You'll see some pictures, that's not one of them, but you'll see some pictures here and there of us. We go to outdoor markets. We had like a 10 by 10 foot canopy with a table, clothing racks, everything. And we started making new connections through there. But it was also something we were nervous about at first, right? There's a lot that can go wrong. What if we say the wrong thing? What if nobody likes the art? What if nobody likes us? What if they're mean? And honestly, we were both outside of our comfort zone when it came to these markets, as well as many other aspects of the business. But we still kept going. I think it's important to do scary things sometimes. And the advice that I heard on some random TikTok that I ended up following was, if you're scared to do something and you can't get over that fear, just do it scared. And that's what we did. Honestly, I'm freaked out by day-to-day life. But regularly being outside of my comfort zone made things easier. I made that a part of my routine. I frequently challenged myself throughout the years that I ran this business, but I also feel like I grew a whole lot because of it. I gained more confidence and have also been able to remove a bit more of my mask. I think it's so important to have somebody, I also think it's so important to have somebody in your corner who you feel safe around, who will be there for you when times are tough. Monica and I had each other to lean on and go to when feeling stressed, overwhelmed, or sometimes even hopeless. And it made all the difference in the world. Honestly, I couldn't have done it without Monica. What I'm really trying to say here is just do scary things, right? And that means different things for different people at different levels, right? But whatever it is, at least from my experience, I've found that pushing myself out of my comfort zone, making it part of my routine and taking it day by day, I found that helped me. Earlier, I talked a bit about that banner that I have over there, the thing that says, embrace the weirdness that life has to offer. And that was kind of what I wanted to build our brand around. So when you're creating a brand, you have to ask yourself, what are your values and what's your message? Monica and I, we value authenticity and acceptance. We want to see a world where more people are given the freedom to just be themselves. Because Monica and I are both people who were picked on when we were kids, just for being ourselves. Honestly, it seemed for a while when I was growing up that most people out there were calling me annoying and weird as a kid. I didn't know that I was autistic at the time, but I felt different. I felt alien. And unfortunately, I taught myself how to mask. The message that we put on that banner once again is embrace the weirdness that life has to offer, because I figure no matter what I do, people are going to call me weird for being me, right? And I have two choices in that regard. I can either try to run away from that, try to hide it, try to mask more, try to blend in and go, no, I'm not weird, I'm just like you. Or I can embrace that and go, you know what, if you think I'm weird for being me, then sure, I'm weird and I love that. I think that's a beautiful thing. I think it's our differences that, I don't know, that make us special, right? Yeah, and for us, sorry, I have some notes that I got lost. Yeah, so with our message, we wanted to encourage people basically to both give themselves and also give others the space and permission to be different and to be unique. And honestly, this is a message that didn't necessarily resonate with everybody. And, you know, honestly, that's okay too, because we're not trying to win everybody. Because you never can, right? Different people have different tastes. And if we try to play it too safe and try to appeal to everybody, we wouldn't have been able to be our unique and authentic selves. I brought a little prop here today. It's a book that I've read a couple times. I love this one. It's called This is Marketing by Seth Godin. It's one of the first and only marketing books I've ever read. But basically the gist of it is, don't try to reach out to the biggest market possible. Do the opposite. He says, look for your minimum viable audience, the smallest group of a customer base, basically, that can support your business, right? Find the smallest group you can that you could, I don't know, yeah, that could be your customers, and run your business and speak to them and to them only. And the cool thing when you do that is you're saying to people, look, I didn't make this for them. I made this for you, right? When we're talking about our message, we're not trying to appeal to the people who've never felt weird or never felt alien. We're trying to appeal to the people who are a little bit more like us. And I think that makes the connection a bit more special. So for us, our group was other people like us who felt like the world wasn't giving them space to be themselves. And by targeting our message to them, it made the work feel better for us. I felt good about what I was doing. It led to some really great conversations and also led to some real and lasting connections. And another thing that was kind of weird for me is early on, I didn't mention my autism when we were talking about Danica Daydreams, because in my mind, my autism was kind of new. I was suspicious about it for a while, but I wasn't diagnosed until less than a year and a half before we launched the business. And I was still trying to wrap my head around, what does that mean for me? Later on, though, that changed. Monica and I, we started a podcast called the Danica Daycast. We talk about a lot of different things, including the art, markets, why Spy Kids 3D is the greatest film of all time. But also a big thing we talk about a lot is our own experiences being neurodivergent. At first, we were nervous talking about these experiences, but I'm really glad that we did. Of course, when you do open yourself up, it's not like bad things can't happen, right? Of course, some people online had some mean things to say. But most of the comments really were supportive. And after a while, we started building a good following there. In total, our podcast clips have gained over 4 million views online. And honestly, the most popular ones are the ones where we were talking about being neurodivergent. So overall, I think being open and authentic was the right choice. It can be hard and can sometimes backfire for sure. But for us, we found that it can be something that really feels healing. And I'm glad that I started talking about my autism. And so I've been talking about Danica Daydreams in the past tense. That's because we did end our business. We ended it at the end of last year. And what I'll say on that is, in the end, the business didn't work out. We had some financial success, but basically it wasn't enough to live off of. And we were putting everything that we had into Danica Daydreams, and we felt we just weren't quite getting what we wanted back out of it. So Monica and I had a lot of long, honest, and sometimes difficult conversations leading up to that decision. But eventually, we realized it was time to say goodbye to this business that we loved. So we ended it last year. But I'll say it was the experience of a lifetime with plenty of ups and downs, but I don't regret it for a minute. I'm so glad of what we did. I'm proud of what we accomplished, and I'll never forget it. I actually got, oh, hey, that one was just on screen. I got a little tattoo too. I got this like a month or two before we ended the business, my first ever tattoo, because it means a lot to me. The last thing I want to quickly touch on are what happened after Daydreams ended, some of the positive outcomes that have come since. So on my end, actually on both our ends, we've had opportunities for more creative work. When we sent out the email announcing we were ending our business, I think the day after, Monica got a response email from a guy saying, hey, I just moved into a new apartment in Toronto. The walls are looking a bit boring. Can you paint a mural? So she had that opportunity come up. I also ended up getting good creative work out of it. My background, like I was saying, is photo and video. And at one of the markets that we did, I met a man who said he had a film company. So we started talking, and then by the time the business ended, he had started a YouTube channel. I reached out, asked if he needed a video editor, started getting video editing work with him. And now he's leaving YouTube behind, but he's starting a new restaurant, and I'll be doing like graphic design work, and I'll be doing photo and video work for him soon. So even though this business failed, I really gained a lot of new skills and experiences, and it's led to more work as well. I'll say one of the really big impacts that these years of my life dedicated to this have had is they also shifted my mind a bit. They show me there's a different path that I can go down than the norm, which for me is a relief because I feel like the norm doesn't always fit me, right? I think, at least my experience being neurodivergent is the world doesn't always give us the space that it should, that we deserve, that we require. I don't know the right wording, but I don't know. My lesson from it is sometimes I can push out and make my own space in the world. And that's what I'm doing right now. I also feel more confident these days, so much more than I did 5 years ago. And the last little note I have on this is Monica and I both went into this having years of experience working as employees, working for somebody else, and we wanted to see what it was like running a business, and we both have that experience. And the cool thing is, we came to different conclusions. For me, I want to continue running a business. I'm doing photo and video work on my own these days. So for me, I realized that I want to be my own employer. And for Monica, she realized the opposite. For her, she prefers being an employee. She prefers working for somebody else. And honestly, those are both totally valid options. And if it wasn't for this experience, I don't know if we would both know that about ourselves. So that's kind of, I love this picture too. We get weird with some of the editing. That's kind of all the notes that I had there. My overall message, once again, is if you have a dream that you have the opportunity to chase, I recommend you do it. I recommend you push yourself outside your comfort zone. Find the right people in your life, right? It doesn't have to be a husband or a wife or a boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. It can be a friend. It could be a parent, a family member, whatever it is. Having somebody in your corner makes a world of difference. And yeah, that's kind of all I had. I don't know if anybody has questions for me, but that's my thing. Yeah. Yeah. Overall, I liked it, but it can also be kind of like a double-edged sword. Like there's the benefits to it. I love having the freedom and flexibility. Because when I was an employee, I'd work retail jobs usually, and some days I'd have a day I think I'd have off, and then I'd get called into work, and not having that predictability kind of throws me off. So I really appreciated the level of freedom that I had in terms of my schedule, in terms of the way that I work. But the flip side too is I sometimes found it hard to detach, because if I was working in a store and it's a bad sales day, it's just a bad sales day. I walk away and I'm whatever, I clock out and I'm mostly done. But yeah, it's different when it's your own livelihood on the line, right? When it's your own income. So yeah, I don't know. Some days I appreciated the freedom and flexibility. Other days I think I was too hard on myself. And that's where Monica and I were there for each other. Yeah, I don't know if that answered your question, but those are my words. Yeah, I'll say I found for me the schedule really helped me. The other thing too that helped is Monica. Because I felt like I had to keep to the schedule, not just because it's something I wanted to do, but because I had this partner both in business and otherwise, who we made this commitment to each other. So I felt like if she's doing her part, I need to do my part. I'll also say my mindset was I need to put the time in, and some days will be better than others. I would have some days where I work 12-hour days, and sometimes after 12 hours, I'd go, I really didn't do anything. I didn't accomplish a single thing that day. And then the next day, it'd be the complete opposite. And I'd be able to get stuff done. It's something I was often hard about myself with, and I still am to this day. I find that with the current work that I'm doing. But I think the most important thing is showing up and cutting yourself a little bit of slack, that you might not always be in the right headspace to get your best work ever done. But I think just being there and getting started helps. Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I think that's the right approach. And I think the more people there are out there like you who are open about it, I think it leads to a better world, right? I think there are so many neurodivergent people out there, and not everybody realizes that. Many people think that we all think the same, and yeah, I think being open about that's a beautiful thing.